Hi, this is Olga from Wholesale USA Dresses.com. Trade shows are excellent venues to purchase closeouts at. Vendors set up booths at trade shows with the specific intention of doing business. While not every vendor is there with the specific intention to sell merchandise right then, they will be happy to do so if they have the opportunity. Although there will be vendors at a trade show that might not be in the business of buying and selling closeout merchandise. They can still point you in the right direction. These vendors can have connections that do buy and sell closeouts. For example, let's say you go to the Las Vegas ASD show and walk around the hall. You will see vendors such as wholesalers and closeout suppliers, but you might also find vendors such as shipping companies. Shipping companies that serve the wholesale and closeout industry will be very well connected. They will know the suppliers and buyers for all different types of merchandise. A shipping company executive might tell you about a great closeout warehouse that his trucks pick up pallets from. Or one of his customers might have asked him if knows any buyers for the type of merchandise that he carries. Your aim at a trade show should be to introduce yourself to as many people as you can. You want to network with wholesale suppliers and the vendors that support the industry. If you meet the owner of a public storage facility, you should ask him if he knows of any his tenants that might have some really good closeout merchandise. At minimum, make sure to exchange business cards with as many people as you can at the show, from visitors to suppliers to vendors to the actual people running the show. The show organizers will be very familiar with the vendors and they will be able to refer you to the right business. The organizers will have a list of all vendors which should include information as to what type of products they have for sale. While you should follow up with all your connections after the show, you can also try to make deals with right then and there. Many suppliers will bring merchandise with them to the show. The merchandise might consist of items that were specifically brought to the convention hall in order to be sold to retailers, or it can consist of samples. If it's merchandise that is meant to be sold, then you can actually make a deal right then. If the merchandise is meant to be used as sample, you can let the vendor know that you are willing to buy it after the show. The vendor should be happy to sell you his samples since he will not have to pay to transport them back, or at minimum take the time to pack them up and bring them back to his warehouse. I once went to a fashion jewelry supplier's warehouse and to make a deal to buy boxes and boxes of his jewelry samples. I purchased over 10,000 pieces of fashion jewelry that he would take with him to trade shows to show potential buyers. Since I purchased those samples at a really low closeout price, I was able to resell the jewelry to my customers at substantially less than the wholesaler regular charges for his merchandise. I would recommend that when you speak to the suppliers at the trade show, you make sure to ask them what merchandise they have available and be specific in mentioning that you are looking for closeouts. The suppliers might have closeout merchandise that is separate from their main products line. You want to make the suppliers aware that you are looking for all type of closeout merchandise, not just the specific product lines that they realize in. A dress wholesaler can have a selection of women's brand name suits because he had an opportunity to buy a closeout deal. I have purchased many closeouts that wholesalers decide to take a chance on. Wholesalers can be offered closeout deals for merchandise that they normally do not deal with. What happens often is that wholesalers will take a chance on those offers but then struggle to sell the merchandise that they bought. If a wholesaler that is struggling to sell closeout merchandise receives a fair offer for it, he will be willing to sell it. And depending on how eager the wholesaler is to sell the merchandise, you might even be able to buy it from him for less than he paid for it. But remember, to find those opportunities, you have to be actively get the word out that you are a serious buyer for closeout products. If we want to be seen as a serious buyer, you have to be ready to buy merchandise when you are given a really good deal. Wholesalers will only take you seriously if you make a purchase when you are offered a super good closeout deal. This does not mean that you have to buy every good deal that is offered to you. It does mean that if you want to be seen as a ready buyer, you actually have to be a buyer. Sometimes it can be worthwhile to take a chance and buy a closeout deal from a seller just to establish a good relationship with the supplier. Another advantage to actually buying closeout deals is that you will develop a good name in the industry. Vendors will start seeking you out when they have merchandise for sale, since they will know that you are serious about buying. I have received many closeout offers that came from sellers that heard about me from other people that I had done business with. Another strategy you can implement at a trade show is to set up a booth with a sign that states that you are looking to purchase merchandise. Your booth can be seen by booth attendants and vendors, so even a retailer that has a closeout of inventory can approach you and offer merchandise to you. Keep in mind that you don't need to just buy products from suppliers. You can also buy wholesale goods from retailers that are looking to liquidate their unsold products. When buying closeouts at trade show, you want to negotiate assertively but professionally. You want to get a good deals while still maintaining good business relationships. Before you agree to purchase any merchandise, do your research. You want to ensure that you are purchasing the right type of merchandise that your customers want to buy. You might decide to take a chance on a new product, which is fine, but you should still reach out to your customers to see if they might be interested in that product. It is also important to see how much the closeout products are regularly sold for by retailers in your market. You want to determine that in fact you are getting in good deal, so you will want to know the actual wholesale and retail prices of those products. Once you have made a deal, try to close the transaction as soon as possible, since you don't want the vendor to either change his mind or sell the merchandise to another buyer. Trade shows are an excellent venue for both doing business and making connections. Take advantage of them. Please visit our wholesale warehouse in New York.